Hello, and welcome back to RailRoads Online. So today we are here going to be jumping back in the old Montezuma and see what we can get done with it. We have turned around and are trying to set a new standard for our stacks. So we have turned around and added another 10 cars to this. So instead of doing the 50 logs, we should be doing 100. That is providing Montezuma can pull it off. So we're going to try to double the stack without buying a new locomotive and just see how that goes. Should turn around and fill up the pond in a run if we can actually get it moving. Did turn around and just buy the cars out here, so haven't done anything with it. Just backed up to it, so we'll just have to see how it's going to run. Which empty should probably not be too much of a problem. Going to be interesting to see how it runs on the loaded end, and we are going to be doing the round trip logging run today. It's kind of going to be the takeout there. Nice little string behind it there. Stepping up the size of the load for Montezuma for sure. I don't think I've ever run 10 of these. I don't think I've ever run 10 of the, or 20 of the small cars at all, ever. Generally would have just stepped up to the big cars, so going to be running a much bigger stack here today. Just kind of how this railroad is starting to stack out. So we'll get this thing underway, obviously. Do kind of see a little bit of a performance hit when you start running stacks this long. But that's just part of the game. So we'll have to see how everything works. We may end up having to break up the stacks or changing things around. Just depends on what we get for game performance, as always. As I've said before, that's part of the reason I've always kept stacks on the smaller side, but with the bigger maps, going to make you want to run bigger stacks. So we're just going to see how it all goes, is kind of the idea. Currently not doing too bad. Things chugging along well. That'll auto flip, so not going to turn around and worry about it. Where we are going to have to turn around and check is here. This is also where we're going to have to turn around and do our turnaround. But we do have the Y junction right here to get that done with. So that's going to be the idea, is we will get the train turned around and then we'll get her loaded up. Probably should throw a caboose or a waycar or something like that on the back of this one. We're going to have to see how it's pulling once it's loaded. If we have the extra power, we're definitely going to throw some sort of waycar or something on the back there so we can make sure that we have all the cars all the time and not have to worry about it. Not that we should be losing cars anywhere. We are seeing some ghosting on the locomotive there a little bit. But we'll turn around and see. If we have the pulling power, we'll definitely turn around and throw a waycar, like a little boxcar or something on the back there, just to make it easy to know where the back end of our train is all the time. As the car is back there, counting these little cars especially, I mean, you know, count that, right? You know what I mean? Like, so throwing something on the back there to make sure we don't lose something is not going to hurt. If we have the extra power, that is. Which I just don't know how that's all going to work out. It's doing alright. Empty, but empty doesn't really mean a lot. Obviously, we're going to, gain a lot of weight in the process of loading up, especially with these little cars. These things do not weigh very much empty, and of course obviously when you load them up they're going to weigh quite a bit more, so the load definitely weighs more than the car. I guess I don't really have a whistle set up for the idea of stopping but turning around, so we're not really going far. There is another stack that we could stand to expand, although at this point we don't really have to go too far with things when it comes to cordwood, so hasn't been too much of an issue there. Though we haven't run a heck of a lot of it, and definitely could run a lot more of it, so probably gonna see exactly how many of those cars we can get on the holding there, and probably end up with a lot more of them actually. Alright, we can do this the easy way and just keep an eye on it here. Yeah, definitely a longer string of cars there. For the small little ones anyway. But just math-wise makes more sense just to add to this than it does to turn around and get rid of them and get new ones. Well, still definitely stopping with no problems. We get those rolled by. Good enough, and then we'll get this bagged up here. There we go, that's gonna work. Actually not having a problem moving around the empty stack at all, so give it credit there. Empties are not what we're looking for here though. This is not a switching operation, so we need it to actually be able to haul the mail. So we can actually head back up to the locomotive now. Get a decent push back here in the woods. Not gonna try to clear all of this out if we can avoid it. And it's been working fine, so it shouldn't have a problem here. There we go, good enough. Get that flipped. That should take care of that. Then it's going to be about getting this bad boy loaded up and seeing if we can still move. And if we can, then we'll turn around and throw a waycar on for the trip home. Still have plenty of money. Not an issue there. Take a look. 95 did turn around and spend about $2,000, I believe, on the new cars. So down a little bit there, but still in the $9,000 range. So plenty of money, especially for this stage of the game. Have turned around and opened up that next tier of locomotive, so that's something to look into. We could start replacing some locos with, like, you know, Tweetsies or whatever. If we feel the need there. That's kind of why it's like put this one through its paces at this point and see if it's going to do the job that we want it to do in the long run. If we can fill the pond in one go, then this loco can stay, but where we're running on medium difficulties, so it's taking more loads to run everything, we definitely have to get it stepped up one way or another. So if this loco is going to do it, then great, it's going to have a home. If not, it's as good a time to replace it as any. Is kind of the thought process with what's going on. Alright, and then we'll bring that to a stop. Are you gonna probably be right in between the cars there on that one, so we'll go ahead and get this one filled up and then scoot it forward. Just going to be a little bit on the loading process what it is. As we have stressed before, it is all much faster than it used to be. Still some work to be done, no doubt about it. At what point are we going to get... Which car are we on? We're on that one. There we go. That might take care of exactly what we need to. As long as he keeps swinging, we're in business. Okay, now that's a weird one. Right, because it's registering that this car needs 2 more, but it's dropping them and they're going on to here, so that's why it's gotten 2 and 2. Always interesting. Right, so then it's just going to do the 1. Now it'll probably bring back the 2 and drop them here. Yeah. Whatever. It's going to get them loaded up. It's going to be a little bit of a process, just what it is. There we go. That's the one kind of complaint I've always had with the little cars, is that they don't line up the greatest. And it's like there's a trade-off in there for the convenience of loading, I guess. This one, I think the key is we want to get this barely lined up to where it'll drop for that. And then this crane will keep doing its thing. And maybe we get them both here. Or maybe we go through the same process we went through last time. No? No. Okay. That's fine. We'll move on to the next crane. Perhaps we can get that loaded before it gets up here. Just turn around and see. Drop. Bam. That worked out. There we go. So at the beginning of the car, it'll load. Probably still won't get that one back here, though. See? No. Absolutely not. Can we creep forward a little bit and get it? Just get it swung and get that drop. That'll be a winner. We're just going to go with it. Stop trying to organize anything and just go with whatever we get, however we get. One thing you do have to have a little more patience if you're going to load longer stacks. That's for sure. Oh, you went like that on me. That's definitely going to drop on the back one. Nope. See, look at that. No rhyme or reason to it either. Maybe we just get this on the slow creep like we did the beams, and we can just use one crane maybe as fast as trying to use 2. If you can get the timing down. Let's go. Oops. Oh, it was my fault that the car's coming to a stop anyway. There we go. Starting to pick them up now. Everything is working. Just loading on the roll, maybe. This one could be tight. It's working anyway. How many more cars do we have? Not that many anyway. You just really gotta snap that second one over quick. Hopefully that'll get there. Whoa, that one's gonna be a problem. Left the gas on there way too long. Well, that's going to be a problem. Unless it's just going to load it up. Let's see what we get out of this. A lot of logs. It's working though. So far. Trains get a little more sluggy on the takeoff. That's for sure. But really, we only have 4 more cars. So things are actually starting to look kind of good for this load. For an unknown, I mean, anytime you try to double up your stack without changing out your locomotive, you just don't know what you're going to get. But then, too, I guess that's a testimony to just not really using the loco for what you could. Is another case. There you go, you know. But then, with this map, it's a whole different ball game where this map is so much flatter than everything else. You can really get away with ringing out the early or less expensive locomotives. Is kind of what we're learning, if nothing else here. You know, if you tried to pull this on Pine Valley with this locomotive, probably not going to do you a lot of good for very long on very many layouts anyway. This definitely is not going to handle a grade. Good news is we don't have a lot of grade going on. Otherwise, I would not. This would not be my preferred locomotive of choice. It does look like we're going to have enough to go ahead and throw a waycar on the back. I think we'll go with a waycar on this one. We definitely don't need a big caboose. It's not that kind of load. Let's go ahead and get that stopped here. Yeah, see, the brakes are now not doing very much. As you can see, I mean, we've had the brakes fully applied on a very slow moving train there for a hot minute and not getting much out of it. Alright, so that works out there. We will jump out of here. I think we'll take flight real quick. You'll look over the moving of forest is what we're doing actually with the Montezuma. So not that we are not getting our use out of it. Probably get kicked out here and have to jump back in. Just kind of a standard operation there. We will try to go with a straight up waycar here. Go in. Take a look at some paint options. I don't think we're going to go with anything too special here. This is just a wood. Yeah. Something, well, you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's go with that. Number, I don't know that we really need a number on this one. You know, we could just put that is our intended load with this. Let's be real. So we'll put log on there, and then this one will go with the standard. for the railroad there, which is just the standard start. Cool, and we just need one of those. So we'll go ahead and fix that up. Oops. Don't need to exit out there. Does it for you. We'll turn the brake off there, fly up, grab that quick, and then we should be on our way. Drop down there. Should not have a problem backing up here. You can obviously tell the loco is definitely working to get this moving, but that is what we're looking for. So we have achieved our goal for sure. Putting the locomotive to work. That is the idea. There's another one. Automatic couplers. Can't say enough about the win there. And you can see brakes not doing a thing. So if you're going to have to hit it hard, you're definitely going to have to do something else. Use some tender brake or something, some car brakes, something like that. We are definitely working the locomotive here. Pounding to life. She is getting the job done here. Montezuma, but that is, again, 20 cars right there in the stack with a weight car. A little bit of a cherry back there. It does make it a little bit easier to see what we have going on there. Now we can certainly bop back that way, and as long as our weight car is rolling, we are good to go. I have to say, that color setup actually goes pretty decent with the loco, actually. That was a great, nice coincidence right there. A little bit of an accident, but it's a good accident. So, not all accidents have to be horrendous, right? That one worked out. There we go. Montezuma putting in work. Alright, hopefully we'll get a little bit more speed going on here as the loco gets everything off of the switches and gets us underway. I would think we're going to get a little more than 6 miles an hour out of the locomotive, but we'll just have to see. Maybe we don't. Which is maybe why it wouldn't go up any kind of hill if we tried. It is definitely not like speeding along in any way, shape, or form. Alright, let's just put that on right there, and then we'll take a look. Make sure all of our brakes are off, stuff like that. We don't want to be pulling against the brake. Which I don't think we are. There's no chance that we are. The only brake we could be pulling against would be if we didn't get this one totally off, and I can't imagine that that's the case. But just to be safe, we'll come up here and take a look, or come back here and take a look. Yeah, we're good. It's cool. This is a work train. Nothing wrong with that. Give us a chance to come back, take a nice look at the back. There's no way we're actually moving this slow. I don't think I've ever had a locomotive on flat ground move this slow due to load. That is crazy. Is that really all we're gonna get? Usually at least speed up. Let's see, are we gonna speed up at all? Well, we're getting up to 9, 10. Past that, it looks like it's just going to be friction on the rail that's slowing us down. So it's like, really, this isn't really going to save us a lot, you know, because if you look at it from the standpoint of we could do 20 miles an hour running half the cars as we're running double the cars, but only running 10 miles an hour. So if this is the case, in reality, we're not saving any time doing logs. We're just taking less, we're putting less miles on, but we're not saving anything. So this could be a good argument to turn around and go ahead and replace this locomotive, right? Because if we could replace this locomotive here and do this faster, then we're actually saving some. So this may be a case of replacing the locomotive, but we could turn around and put a nice big locomotive on something else we got working and probably bring one of our other locomotives back to this task. Maybe the ticket, but Montezuma may have lived its life on this railroad, just judging off of the performance on this run. I don't think there's any way to get any more out of this. If we don't get anywhere near our top speed with it on full power, we're definitely not going to be able to torque down on anything for speed, that's for sure. We are not going to get more speed out of it. No matter what we do, we definitely have full pressure. We have heat, we have water, we got all that going on. This is just all it's got, which is why if this is on an incline at all, you're basically not going anywhere. So if you want to know what Montezuma maxes out like on flat ground, I gotta say this is a pretty good, that's about all it's got, because the loco really would not be doing much more at all. And maybe putting the waycar, I don't know if we take the waycar off, if that's going to get us going any faster. I don't think so. By the time you start talking about all the weight from these logs, that waycar is basically nothing. Yeah, just not gonna pick up. Whoa, no. Yeah, that goes to show you right there. The tinder brake will absolutely stop this locomotive in its tracks. In fact, this may be the little bit of an incline on the whole run here. We do have a little bit of like a half grade in here. Yeah, I bet that was right there. You can kind of just see it in the groundwork. And I bet it was right there. Which was probably the worst time to hit the brake. We're going to get the load over there. We're not going to do it in a hurry, that's for sure. Let's make sure that we're on the unload side, not driving this into anything. We may have to do some locomotive shopping after this run, that's for sure. And bring that around the horn there. But that wouldn't be horrible. I mean, it's gotten us this far. We can turn around. I think we probably have plenty of time before we chug our way over there to turn around and take a look again. Whoops. With where we are at. So we are at $9,000 into tier 6. Looks like we're, I don't know, somewhere about halfway, not quite halfway, getting through to tier 7. Not that we have a heck of a lot opening up in the loco department per se. Super soon there. But at this speed, I think we could put even like a Heisler or a Climax on here and probably get this kind of speed and a lot more easy to move it. I don't know. There are a lot of upgrades we could put in as far as different locomotives here. I mean, let's be honest. Starting locomotive. But definitely have found the extent of the use of Montezuma. So, and we could continue to do this, but the idea was that it would pick up, kind of pick up the pace. And I don't know that that's the kicker. It is definitely going to pay off getting it here, but 10-mile-an-hour locos are not generally my thing. Maybe we could throw the 10-wheeler in here and probably pick up the pace and have a lot more power. Not an expensive loco either. Good news is here we will be filling the pond in one go, or at least we should be if we can get them all in there. As you can see, it's totally empty. Whoa, that was weird. All right, let's slow this down a little bit. We're gonna actually have to stop it, or we're gonna lose some logs. They don't like to unload into one another, as you can see. Will cause you to flip around some logs. Good news is we have plenty to choose from here. We'll get those all unloaded, happening fast enough. Doesn't necessarily have to happen on the roll. There we go, 60 logs already, not too bad. Still a few cars to go. Try dropping these. And then we'll drop these. Probably work just as fine, just dropping them one in a row if we can get them all off quick enough. Nice thing is, with the 5 logs, that happens a little faster. It's amazing how much that one extra log will actually make a difference in your time. There we go, everything happening nice. Pond is certainly filling up there. Winner. We can just turn around and check up here. 90 as we're filling the mill there. Let's actually turn around and just leave that there. We'll jump out of here and go fly over and see actually how things, yeah, way better. One load, not a bad deal there. I think beams are the ones we're going to be after here. Obviously looking like that was the empty one there. So, and we need plenty of lumber as it goes too, but that is going to turn around and fill up the log pond. Obviously, I think we're probably going to be looking at new locomotive here. We can take a look what kind of money we got out of that. It's a little more than $1,000 worth of logs, so the load is good. The locomotive probably going to get replaced there, as it is doing it slow, but it's doing it. So we are going to call it a win. Say thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you get a chance, like, share, subscribe. Subscriptions are free, but they sure do help the channel. Y'all have a great day.